Welcome back to another Post Media Senators one-on-one. Pleased to be joined by Gord Wilson today. Gord,
Whoa. Sidekick.
yeah,
Sidekick.
yeah. Do you want me? Should I call the play-by-play guy and bring him on? And
No, let's do this.
you know what, Gord? As we speak, though, the Senators will hit the 20-game mark of the season against the Anaheim Ducks on Thursday. And after what I'd say is a little bit of a stumble out of the gate,
Yep.
and to use the words of the general manager, pissing some points away, that they've gotten their act together and they're playing pretty well right now with only 2 regulation losses in their last 13 games as we speak today. I think they're playing some pretty good hockey.
Oh, absolutely. I don't disagree with you at all. I do agree with the general manager. I won't use that same expression, but there's no question where this team is at right now is almost remarkable based on statistics that we look at, and not analytic statistics, but just simple ones like point percentage or power play or penalty kill or goals for, goals against. The fact of the matter is they're in a playoff spot at the quarter turn. They're on pace for a 95-point season, which should effectively get them in the playoffs. Their goals for are top 10 in the National Hockey League. Their goals against, they're not, but this is one of the reasons why they frittered away points at the beginning of the season. Their goaltending was inconsistent, but the good news on the goaltending front is the goals against average is going down, which is what you want it to do, and the save percentage numbers are going up, which you want them to do as well. So I think they're in good shape there. They're trending in the right direction with their goaltending. I have no doubt about that. Let's keep in mind the penalty kill has not been good, and it continues to be not good. It's got to get better. There's no question about that. And they've got a top 10 power play. But let's not forget the fact that they've been without their captain now for 17 games, right? Yeah. So holding their head above water here without Brady Tkachuk has been, I won't say nothing short of remarkable, but it's been impressive, in my opinion.
But it does look like, Gordon, your hero is reporting this, that and if you need to look for your hero, just look no further than your computer screen.
Right.
That Brady Tkachuk is meeting with the doctor in New York on Monday. The expectation and the hope is that he will get the green light to ramp up and get ready to return. His intention, he stated on his podcast, is to be back by the end of the month. Yeah. What would getting him back mean?
Well, it's just an energy boost more than anything else. And I think, look, if you're going to have a top player suffer an injury 3 games into the season, there could be none better than a hand injury, right? Because you're still able to skate. The fact that he's been able to skate, and the fact that he's wanted to be around the team every road trip, and he essentially has taken just about every trip with the hockey club. He's extremely visible. He's not lost in translation, basically, as far as, well, we don't talk about injured players. We don't see our injured players. They work out on their own, blah, blah, blah. Brady's a full participant in all of this, which is a huge plus. So I think as much as anything, hero, it's an energy boost. It's an energy boost to the hockey club. And let's state the obvious here. He's a top 5 power forward in the National Hockey League. So what team wouldn't want that guy back, right?
And I kind of hadn't really planned on talking about him coming into this with you, but one of the guys I do want to talk to you about is Tim Stutzle. Has Tim Stutzle raised his game here in Brady Tkachuk's absence? And I don't mean just in the faceoff circle, because there I think has been a remarkable change. But go ahead.
Well, I think he's raised his game, yes, but I also think there's been a different level of maturity to his game, right? Yeah, we saw signs of it last year. I think the fact that Tim is still, whether Brady's in the lineup or not, he's still required to provide offense. And he was, taught over the last couple of seasons that he's also required to play defense. And I thought it was a wonderful quote from him a couple of games ago when post-game he said, we have to check for our chances. In other words, if the other team has the
Yeah, it's
puck,
arrived, eh? Yeah.
if the
Yeah.
other team has the puck, I gotta check the puck. I gotta check him off the puck to get it back and go the other way. There's zero question that he's an absolutely phenomenally gifted offensive player. But what we're seeing right now are the fruits of his labor, as far as getting it at both ends of the ice. He's turned into an extremely effective two-way forward at both ends of the ice, and it's not just in the face-off circle where he's 61 going into the Kings game. He was at 61.5%. It's the fact that he's killing penalties now. He's playing in all situations, and you've got a top five player that when he's playing in all these situations, these different situations, whether it be trying to protect a one goal lead or trying to get a goal to erase a one goal deficit or be on the penalty kill or get a power play opportunity, this is like a five-star player here right now.
Yeah.
And he's playing, excuse me, he's playing some of the best hockey of his career, without question.
It just like I kind of said this to Travis Green the other day when they were down to five defensemen that the five defensemen don't mind. They don't want to lose anybody. They don't mind because they get more playing time. I'm sure with a guy like Tim, giving him the PK responsibilities also gives him more ice time, Gord.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's all players want. If they're if they're feeling really good, the
Yeah.
more ice time, the better, right? And that's up to the coach to realize that. Okay, this guy's going, this guy's not going. We've seen the same with Drake Batherson. I think, and he got hurt in training camp and missed a little bit of time, and because of the condensed schedule, there's not a whole lot of practice time, as you know. The fact that it took him a tiny bit of time to get up to speed. Once he got up to speed of the NHL game, his legs and his hands joined the conversation together, right? And all of a sudden now he's teamed up with a guy who's been up to speed and is playing exceptionally well. These two look like a dynamic duo, and they'll be tough to break up if, in fact, there is a need to when Brady does come back.
One of the things I think we'd be remiss if we didn't mention is the Ottawa Senators now have their three centers locked up until 29-30 in Tim Stutzle, Dylan Cousins, and now Shane Pinto, who signs a 4-year, $30 million extension. Gord, it all begins to me in the middle of the ice, but what do you think it means to get a deal done with Pinto?
Well, it's 100% excellent deal for both sides. I think Shane probably could have gotten even a little bit more, to be very honest with you. I think it's an exceptional deal for the Senators. I'll start there. The fact of the matter is, yes, they've got three centermen, and Shane just turned 25, all under the age or at the age of 25 years of age, locked up long term. It's a huge plus. And you're not wrong, Bruce. It's strength down the middle, right? These are three guys in Dylan Cousins and Tim Stutzle and Shane Pinto who have a lot of runway left in their careers here, and runway that is only going to trend in an upward direction, an upside direction. The window closes quickly. But if you can get these guys all together at the same time and show them that, we're committed to keeping you all together because we have a belief in you, then it can only bode well for the hockey club.
One of the things that's happened since we're sitting down today is the Senators have sent Maxon Skinnet to the Philadelphia Flyers. They've brought back Dennis Gilbert. I don't know what the timeline is for Thomas Chabot, but I would suspect that he did skate on Monday. I would suspect he's probably in the 2-week range. I don't anticipate he plays in the early part of this road trip. But one of the things his injuries did, Gord, was kind of expose the lack of depth on the left side of defense since they lost Donovan Sabrango on waivers.
Yeah, without question, and a disappointing loss, right? A local young man here, and really playing good hockey, right? Playing some pretty good hockey within the organization. So very disappointing, and I know the club was quite disappointed in losing him. And it did expose, you're right, it did expose the lack of depth. There are a couple of young players in Belleville that are left side shooters, but not nearly ready for the NHL. What they got in Dennis Gilbert on Monday is a player who they're familiar with. He was part of the Josh Norris trade last year and saw a little bit of playing time. Big body presence as well, right? And I think
Yeah.
that's what is important to the hockey club here. As it tries to continue to trend in an upward direction, playing good, sound defensive hockey. And Dennis Gilbert's not going to get in every night. There's no question about that. But the fact is, they have some depth with experience.
One last thing before we go, Gord. The Senators head on a 7-game road trip. And despite the obvious...
I know where you're going. The obvious benefits. What are some of the
obvious benefits of being on the road? I can't. Anyway, you asked. I did laugh when David Perron asked you today. What obvious benefits? But anyway, where were we? No, I will. I need to get this back on track. 7-game road trip with some difficult stops. What would look good for you when they get back from this? Because you know what, Gord, it doesn't feel like, it feels like other times of year, they've often done this road trip at this time of year, and the schedule is often the same in a lot of ways. But often this has felt like a make or break trip for the season. It doesn't feel that way this year because they've had a good start.
Yeah, I agree with you, Bruce. How many years did we call the trip through California the Valley of Death, right? Like they rarely came up with any points. There was one time, 8 seasons ago, where they were able to sweep the 3 games, but it's still going to be extremely tough. There's no question about that. I think the fact that it's spread out over a little bit more time, there's not a back-to-back on this trip, which to me is a huge plus. Remember, there used to be the LA, Anaheim back-to-backers. Then they'd go on to San Jose, but and Vegas now in the mix as well. The fact of the matter is there's not an easy stop anywhere in the National Hockey League at this moment, I don't think. And in particular in California. San Jose is just playing some really fun, watchable hockey and getting some results because of it. And same with the Anaheim Ducks. Mason McTavish is off to a terrific start. And I really take a real hard look at the improvement of the Anaheim Ducks. And I look right behind the bench and Joel Quenneville and the effect that he's had. But the schedule-wise, in the words of the players, it is what it is. You know what? If they can come back 4-2-1 over this stretch, pick up points in 5 of the 7 games, I think they'd be thrilled. And at the same time, at some point during the trip, maybe get their captain back.
Well, and one last thing, and I probably should have told you this beforehand, but I'll give you a second to think about it. As they hit the 20-game mark on Thursday, is there anyone you think has been their biggest surprise either way? I'm going to tell you my biggest surprise, and it's probably in a negative direction, is the play of Ridley Gregg thus far.
Okay.
I don't think he's made the impact that I expected him to make this season, and probably more offensively than anything.
Okay. Well, career high of 13 goals last year. I'm not sure what your expectations were this year. He's in a top 6 role right now. This is one of the things that happens when you lose a guy in the top 6. You bring players into a different role and maybe put them in a I won't say an uncomfortable position for Ridley, but where is he best suited? He's probably best suited as a third line left winger here.
Okay.
But that being said, I'll go in the other direction and say positive. I didn't expect Michael Amadio to have 6 goals at the quarter turn, right? He's been wonderful. And I didn't expect a combination of Amadio, Pinto, and Claude Giroux to be as good as they have been and as consistent. And when a coach starts juggling line combinations, but there's one that always stays the same, you're headed in the right direction with that trio. And Michael Amadio has been a real pleasant surprise for me. We know he can play. Right. I like the fact, and Travis said this the other day, even when his A game isn't there, you'd almost not know it because he's got a level of consistency to his game. And Travis didn't say it like that. I didn't say it properly, but I think you get my drift here. He's got if his game drops off, it doesn't drop off noticeably.
Well, Gord, listen, you never drop off noticeably, but I really appreciate you joining me today because it was either you, Steve Stales, or Dave Poulin. And the first two said no because they were making a trade. So here you are.
Yeah. Well, I can tell you the happiest thing that right now with this ending is my dog Jackson. He has been scratching at the back door and is now speaking to me. Open this door right now. So his back legs are crossed, and I better sign off now.
Thank you. For Sens Post Media One-on-One, I'm Bruce Garrioch with Gord Wilson of TSN 1200.